Look at
Mark.
that. Martin.
How are
dude,
you?
Good, buddy.
One thing that I have asked all people is, I'm going to ask you these as well,
Bring it on.
is Scott Farquhar stepped down as CEO last week, and what's your take on that? And before you answer, so I've asked all of these people that, and then we plan to have like a longer session with like different voices and what's the opinions and so on. So what's your take?
So it's an end of an era. And let's be honest, it's an end of an era. And it kind of caught us all by shock, even at Atlassian.
You didn't know?
We didn't know. We found out last week. And
so at the press announcement.
At the time he shared it outside with the rest of the world, they shared it with us a little bit beforehand.
Yeah, okay.
And it was one of those things where
it's kind of fair.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I commend the guy. I tell you what, because think about it. For the last 22 years, he's been at
23.
This. Yeah, 23 at this point. He's been going at it with Mike, helping to create something that honestly has changed the lives of so many people, and he's kind of earned it at this point. I love, he did a couple of things that it still gives me goosebumps because I just love his intentionality around why he's leaving. Is one of the big pieces is he wants to spend some time with the family. He did a couple of these excursions, especially during the pandemic, where he took a couple months off, went to the bush with his family. They had a great time, and I think those were things that helped him kind of realize that for him, he's only got, he could build a company, it'll be amazing, but he's only got so much time with his kids, his family, and so he wants to take that time. So, for a guy who's built this multi-billion dollar company, I hope he's able to now take that and then really just enjoy the life he's built. Now for us, with bringing in Mike, it's going to be different because if you think about it, it's like Mike and Scott were like the left and the right side of the brain. And right now we're taking off one side, so we're going to have to learn how to operate. I think we're going to step on ourselves every now and then. We're going to realize maybe we were meaning to do something, but it didn't feel very Atlassian, but it was because we didn't have the other half. So we're going to have to relearn, I think, a little bit about that.
But he's not going to be gone altogether, right?
He won't be gone altogether, but it won't be the same. It won't be like he's in our day-to-day. Like he's not going to be jumping on Loom videos and sending them to us each week. We're not going to see him in our Confluence pages anymore.
Are you frightened a little bit?
If I'm honest, I am a little. It's always something. I know. It's honestly,
if you lose
right?
half of your brain,
I know, right?
It's one thing. Like no one that I talked to said he doesn't deserve that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like that's the one side, and then there's the side where we come in, where we just stay there,
right?
And want this to thrive.
It's like, what do we want? We want to see this keep growing, right? And I think what I'm afraid for, if I'm being totally honest, is that with Mike and Scott, they built the culture that is Atlassian. They created our values. Yeah. It was them. They were the ones that I see it in a lot of big companies. I see it in a lot of tech companies. The founders create that vibe, and then when the founders leave, that vibe changes. And for me, that's why I'm so excited that Mike's still around, because I think Mike, again, he's going to keep carrying that torch for us. But it is something that's it's the unknown. The unknown is always scary, and I think that's for us. We're going to have to figure out, how do we work in the new world?
I'm going to give you some mean and tougher stuff that I heard, and you don't have to answer it. So when I ask people, let's assume 2 weeks ago, I told you next week one of the founders will leave.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? 100% at Mike and Brooks.
I would have said it too. Yeah. And the reason I would have said Mike, honestly, was because he's done a lot of stuff with like the green movement. He's given a lot of investment.
He's transformed energy in
I know, yeah, exactly. And the thing is I even saw like a few weeks ago, there was an article about him doing new stuff with it. And so I would have put money in Vegas, then it would have been Mike. Yeah. So I think that was probably part of the startling part, was it wasn't who we expected, And again, we don't never want any of them to leave, but it wasn't the one we expected to leave. And so that's why it kind of shocked us, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, So I agree with that.
I have these two baskets.
Yeah.
And still everyone's laying.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's that one. And then I take this, like, what? Why would you do that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. That's also like very one-sided. Is Mike Brooks gonna follow suit?
I don't know. You know what? If I'm honest, the guy deserves it. Just like
Same answer,
Scott.
kind of
The guy deserves it. But the thing is I think It's funny, when I started doing, so this week, when knowing that Scott was leaving, I've done some tribute stuff to him through some of the content we've done this week. So I went and dug into their history, really understanding where Mike started, where Scott started. And what's fascinating is like Mike has truly always been a builder. Like he actually did his own little company and sold it before he even started Atlassian, when he was like just in uni. And then in the university, when he was in uni, he was the one that reached out to like a group of friends.
Uni? University?
Yeah, university. Sorry, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We say the same thing in German.
Oh, there you go.
I thought it wouldn't translate.
You're like, it wouldn't translate. No,
I'm learning English here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Exactly. And so, like, he was the one that he wanted to do something crazy, and he sent an email out to all his friends, including Scott Farquhar, and the only person to respond to that email was Scott Farquhar. So, to me, actually, as I've learned about it, I'm actually quite excited for Mike, because I think Mike's a builder. Mike's the guy that I think he has that. I mean, both of them have the entrepreneurial spirit, but like, I don't know, Mike's a true builder, and I think we're going to see that kind of come out even more. It may even be that was a part of Mike that he hasn't brought back out in a while. We might see a new side of him as he's like re-engaging all this.
I've heard people say, "Oh, Mike checked out 5 years ago."
Oh yeah.
So the ship is captainless. But I think okay, it's one take.
Yeah.
But that's very negative. And my hope, or maybe also my projection, whatever, is it's not going to be, or might not have been as intense for him as it would be for you and for other people. And that's my hope. He can just stand that much easier and not be like per default more detached. So you say, oh no problem, I'm going to do Atlassian on the side.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's probably the part of me that doesn't want change.
Oh yeah.
What I also heard from someone else is, they're practicing this 100-year company. So they want a long-lasting company. So you have to practice what's going to happen if I step back. Because I'm still young, I can still
You can't be a Warren Buffett and you get to your like 98, right?
But
you want to have some time.
He didn't step back. Like Warren Buffett was always active.
Yeah. But what happens now with his stuff as he he goes away?
A very good example on that is Ray Dalio.
Yes.
And Bridgewater. So he stepped back, someone came in, he wasn't very satisfied, came back in, stepped back again, came back in, and people were making fun of that.
Well, it was even like, what was it, Jeff Schultz with Starbucks too, did the same thing, where it's like...
And it's like, when you look at that, it's just, and those people have built astronomous empires and things, at least I will never achieve in my life, but it's just an experiment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just try. Maybe it's going to be good. If it's not going to be good, I can still say,
we can always.
Can I please get in?
I know. Exactly. I'll come back in and we'll do it again. We'll try it again.
Anu on stage is already saying, I'm sending Loom videos every week to my 11,000 employees.
She does.
Is she the new CEO?
I think, well, I mean, she's our president, she's the person who's already helping us drive, create the culture, be the presence within our organization, and I think she's done a fantastic job doing that. Again, she creates relatability and connection with us through those sorts of things, and I think that's to me that I think is good CEO content, aspects, good characteristics. So I think she's doing the right job right now, and we'll see kind of how time evolves, where she wants to grow. Yeah.
Okay, so enough of that. Announcement at Atlassian Team in Las Vegas. You must have heard that like multiple times. What's your highlight?
So I think incredibly excited about the system of work. We've been talking about it internally for leading up to this, and this whole idea of trying to really collapse what was it. Honestly felt like a little bit of a disjointed system into let's layer down the foundations of how we work versus the tooling that we use. Really excited about that. Things like the teamwork graph, those elements that starts acknowledging that work is varying, it's different, but it needs to connect. I think that's where they're going in the right direction. Things like bringing together Jira, at the same time, Jira Work Management and Jira, we're on the same engine. Let's bring it together and actually bring the both good worlds together. Peanut butter and chocolate. I want to have both at the same time. So
people tell me Atlassian screwed up, and now they fixed it. Well, not that marketing-wise.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
maybe, and at the end of the day, like I remember I used to use like Jira Work Management and Jira, and like I would do reports that would come out of both of them because at the end of the day, they really were kind of the same. They're again based on the same product. And now I think we finally brought it together, which is the right thing to do. If you ask me, that was always the right thing to do. I'm glad we made that choice.
Some people were kind of angry and say, "Oh, you shouldn't make the error in the first place." But no, you can try that.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe we tried to gain the lower market. Let's say Basecamp and all those small things.
They're very unique.
We're gonna tackle them with Jira Work Management.
Yeah.
So we try.
Yeah.
I find out, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Should work. Let's try again. And then after the 5th time, we say, Basecamp, you just keep your niche,
right.
and we stop it. And then if we do that, and we put it on a keynote, or we have to announce it somehow, we're not going to say it like this. It's like, all your presentation game in the keynote is so flawless.
Oh,
So people keep on rubbing and polishing, and afterwards, did you know what? It always belonged together, so we put it together. and then people say, it's so artificial. No, it's just like.
No.
What?
I honestly do.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It's the right thing to do, so do it.
We're going to do it, and I think that's the idea. And now, to your point, we would go off and go after the base camps and these Asanas and stuff like that by saying, we're going to have the separate product that does it. Well, why do we have to play exactly that same game? We don't have to play that let's play the game we want to play, and that is trying to help a company at all different functions, and that's what Jira does. And that's where it's funny. Even when it was Jira Software, who talked about it as Jira Software? We all talked about it as Jira. And this is now, we really got to honor what it really was back in the beginning, I feel.
I love Jira lists. Is that something that you'd bring up, or is it just a side note of the keynote?
It's I love it. It's new new functionality, new features. I don't know. It's not something I've dived enough.
Let me try to give you the point. So Daniel Franz in Atlassian, he has built JXL, an awesome app. I fear that he may hate it, but he showed with the success of his app how high the demand of just having silly lists in Jira is. Like, give me that spreadsheet experience so that I can just run through those 30 issues quickly. And to be honest, Jira didn't get it.
They didn't get it. And they do that in Jira Work Management, and that was one of those things where I'm actually excited that features like that come in now to the rest of Jira. You don't have to be on just Jira Work Management to get the list view.
So I've taught myself coding in the last 2 to 3 years, and so I pulled out all Jira issues that are assigned to me, and unfortunately, it's not only Jira Work Management, it's all over the place.
Oh, it's all over the stuff, right?
So I pulled them out and edited them in a table-like experience called ctable, and then all the changes I piped back in through the API, and then people looked at it. Oh, Martin, this is complex. Who's using that? Oh, just me. What the? Did you code that? Like only to use it? And I said, yeah. Why did you do that? Oh, it's so much faster. No loading times, nothing. I can just run through my list and then.
You're not rendering anything like that. It's just right there.
It's a peace of mind. Like I know nothing's going to explode because I've run through all of these issues.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they say, okay, but isn't that cumbersome? Yes, absolutely. And that's Jira lists. That's just fixing that.
It really is.
I can throw away that code. And
you know what? Honestly, that's where it is. Now I've got the full picture in here because now, that was actually something where my team, we've used for the last 2 years, we've used JPD and Jira Work Management as how we manage our work, and it's really going into things like Jira, like the Jira list aspect of Jira Work Management. It's just natural. It's like I'm used to using like a spreadsheet or something like that to just manage my work. Now I just do that. Why separate it out?
What on this journey, I've tried, for example, JXL. I wasn't as fast, so I went to Daniel to make it faster.
Make it faster,
And he said, I can't. I need to wait on Jira, and it's like it's a limitation, Jira Cloud, APIs, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, and then this is like a situation where Atlassian can solve it because they have a deeper integration. And it's unfortunate for people who create these apps. Like we have Draw.io. Now Atlassian has Confluence Whiteboard. Sucks.
Right.
Adaptivist has Script Runner. Now you have Jira Automation, and it's awesome. Getting AI sucks for them. And at the same time, if we're asking like, what does the customer need? It is flawless, fast, seamless experience. And sometimes, like, one day I told our people, like, we're what Atlassian is not. And if Atlassian is that, and we've been that yesterday, part of the game.
Well, and I think it's just a continuous evolution,
it feels but it feels a little bit, you're getting so big that all we get is an announcement and then it happens. So,
well, you know, it's going to be interesting, I think, especially with how the product evolves. And again, moving into that, hopefully, that view of almost like a single platform, you know, where it's all kind of connected, and that's what they talked about in there, is that idea that it's all connected in there. The thing is we're still not going to try to be everything to everybody, and I think that's the big thing. It's like there's still some intentional usage, and we've actually probably learned from our partners and what you've seen out there, and what you've actually built, because we're like, wow, that is really a necessary thing. Like, we should look to bring that into the product. I think this is actually a really cool opportunity of like, how do now partners imagine the next level? Because what it is, you all are seeing the future. You guys are the ones that are actually saying, hey, you know what? Our people need this, and so we're building those apps. I'm excited for what's the next app y'all are going to build. Like, what's the next thing that you see that we don't?
That's a good bridge to Rovo.
It is, right? It is.
Tell us a little bit about Rovo.
So I love Rovo because I've actually been using it internally for a little bit. You know, we like to, as we like to say, drink our own champagne, and so we've been doing that for a while. And I think what it's doing is, especially its ability to go out and search throughout multiple different, you know, bodies of knowledge.
Google Drive. Oh,
I know, right?
They kiss someone's feet.
I know.
Just tell me who, and
I want to know where that doc is, right? You know, and I think that to me is, you know, again, it's the first iteration of this. You had your Confluence search that you could do some natural language, you know, searching, and it was great. It helped me a ton. But now I can actually almost, just like I would with ChatGPT, have almost that dialogue and that back and forth. I can do, as a developer, I can start actually having creative conversations, and I think that's going to be exciting. Instead of going off into a separate product, I can now be in Rovo and actually do the rubber ducking with Rovo, and it's almost now its own personality for us. And so I think that's going to open a lot of things. The thing is, though, we have to learn how to use it to actually solve right problems. You know, I can go to Rovo and I can ask it to make me a haiku around the new features coming out of Atlassian. You know, will do it for me, but that's not the value of Rovo. And so
if you're watching the long form video of this, Rovo's a new product Atlassian announced. They are dividing it into 3 parts: find, learn, action. Finding is a universal search over all Atlassian products, and also third-party things like SharePoint, like Google Drive, like
connect
Slack,
it all together.
like Microsoft Teams. Then learn is, as I have all this in my database, in my index, I can help you discover that. So there was this example with Project Blueberry where you automatically get this spreadsheet that no one will ever find again, but AI will say, oh, look, I found this Blueberry spreadsheet, and it seems to be connected to that. And by the way, Mark Cruth was working on that, so maybe you want to reach out to him, and like collecting all these things automatically. And once Scott Farquhar joins in, his bubblehead will appear as well, and I know, okay, I can talk to this guy also, and maybe they change positions because one is more active than the other. I love that part. It's completely new as an application, and Chris Cook said Atlassian's leaving La La Land to get into like really applications of AI, and I think it's spot on. Last year I thought, oh, he also said, like, we posted a video at 3 a.m. this morning, so that's how deep I am in this.
How deep you in this? I love that.
And he said there were 3 venture capitalists who said we're going to drink 1 shot every time AI is mentioned, and they were hospitalized.
Of course they were.
And then there was another group that wanted to drink a pint of beer every time data center was mentioned, and they were very thirsty at the end.
I mean, it really just speaks to the investments and where our focus is, you know?
And it's totally mind blown only by this discover, learn thing.
Yeah.
And then the action thing that you already talked about, as if it was normal, is like robo agents where you can come in and have special skills. For example, you can say, oh, there's this agent that's sitting there as a bobblehead, and you can then click on it and say, oh, I need a diagram.
Yeah.
And then say, what about? Hey, look at this page. Or maybe you've created a Loom video, the Loom video is transformed into a page automatically, and now you want a diagram of all these things. And then you pull in this draw agent who will then automatically create this to you.
Create that for you.
And what we all know by our experience with ChatGPT, it's probably only as good as, I heard that and I think it's very fitting, as the work of a freshman, a junior. So, but still, like, you're halfway there.
Oh yeah.
So reduce complexity, busy work done already, and you just, oh no, that's not right, let's fix that and fix that, and then, but you're already halfway there, and that's
and I think now we've got to figure
powerful.
out. Well, and now we've got to figure out is how to, again, just this idea that now how does it play a part in how we do work? And again, we've got the technology. I think that's the cool thing. And then just to your point, I love that the level of a freshman. It really is, and that's what AI is right now. It's like, we've all got it. Everybody's, if you don't say AI when you talk about something, you're in trouble these days. We've got the tool. AI is there. But now we've really got to figure out, again, how we use it. And it even comes into how it plays a part in your team. Because I think, and one thing I've started to actually do with teams I would do certain exercises with, like roles and responsibilities. AI is a certain role in our team now. What do we want to make it responsible for? And I think it's really being intentional on that. And that's going to help us figure out how we use Rovo. Because what I'm afraid of is and not really afraid, maybe that's a bad word. We're really, what I'm thinking what will happen is we're going to take the next year or so, and we're going to have it, and we're going to be like, cool, what do I do with this? And I might ask it a question, I might create a diagram, cool. But I'm not using it to its fullest extent. And so it's figuring out, being intentional within our teams about like, all right, we want to use AI for this, and then doing that is what's really going to allow it to move from freshman to sophomore. That's what's going to allow it to take that next stage.
Sophomore is the next.
Or that sophomore level, right? Exactly. Go from the first one grade to the next grade.
And then university, what's that then?
So we've got, we got freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. There you go.
Okay, awesome.
There you go. So we're just at that first stage, I think.
Next year we'll talk about that.
Next year we'll be talking about the sophomore years, right?
Okay. What I like a lot about this skill approach is, and if you're an investor and you're not hospitalized yet, that should really make the Atlassian stock attractive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You are, like, Atlassian is so well positioned for this in-context AI skill-based help. Like, it's one thing that I can talk to ChatGPT, and I'm always thinking, like, where do you get all this information from? Maybe it's Wikipedia, that would be okay. But everything else feels like when Google bought YouTube, I thought, you're buying a big heap of copyright infringements.
That's what it is.
And, no longer. People are posting a lot of their own content there, and but back then it was, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like, everything you get out of it, you learned by copyright infringing something else. But whatever, maybe that's a way it should
even
go.
in some countries, they're actually making laws around whether or not that's okay. Like, I think
for
Japan
Atlassian,
has done that.
For Atlassian, it's different.
Yeah.
Like, I, as a customer, are paying you, Atlassian, to index my stuff so that I can search it and so that you can educate my people on my knowledge. And who else is in a situation to do that?
Right.
Facebook? No. Google? Maybe. Microsoft? Maybe. Amazon? Nope. So, and then I'm done, like, with my list, and I don't see anything at Google or Microsoft that is close to that. No. And
especially
like, if you're an investor,
deep level of integration.
Look into that.
Right?
Like, this is a unique thing that Atlassian can do. No one else in the market can do that. And we probably have plenty of time to try these agents out until they are someone. You always have to, like, if we talk to one another, after 5 minutes, you want to talk to the guy again? Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe
And
not,
it's the
right.
same. It's the same thing with an agent. So
it
you
is,
talk to him.
100%.
Oh, you're not even a freshman.
I know,
you're
right? You don't know
like
anything,
waste of
yeah.
my time. So I'm never gonna
Yep.
talk to you again. And we can then iterate from
Yep.
there, and maybe at some point we're worth the attention of those humans, and that's something that I do see Atlassian achieve. I do see the marketplace vendors achieve.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be very exciting.
See,
to
I'm going to be
what
curious to
special
see
skills
what
are
marketplace vendors do now when we think about things like Rovo, when we think about this agent aspect. Like, I'm really curious to see how does it get leveraged by our partners and our solution providers, but then how do they augment it? You know, because I think that's going to be some of the biggest opportunities. Like you mentioned, we're going to have our hooks out to other places. What else is possible? What else haven't we actually thought about? And I think that's what I'm excited the most about.
I'm no video editors think, oh, when are they going to stop those? This is definitely a long form
right? You know, right?
video.
We like our conversation, right,
Yeah.
Martin?
That's been super insightful. Thank you so much.
Martin,
is there
thanks so much.
something, like if one of those people watching this want to
Yeah.
reach out to you, how can they get in touch with you?
So you can check me out on LinkedIn. I'm big out there, but also feel free to send me a note. I mean, I like to share my email, mcruth@atlassian.com. Reach out. My team is here to help our customers think about how they actually work differently with our products, and not from just a tooling perspective, but like really, like how do you make use of a tool like Rovo to help you solve problems?
Super responsive. So I asked you, I think a week ago, then you said, yes, I'm going to do that. And then I missed it.
Oh, yeah.
And then you posted, oh, look at my calendar. Did you know what? Like you also, there were things in your screenshot.
There was 100% things in my screenshot.
That you should have posted. I'm not going to tell.
Oh, I had like 4 people reach out to me and be like, Mark, you should pull that. I was like, oh no.
Did you?
I totally did.
Yeah.
I didn't want anyone
So
pull.
he put in his flight registration number that you can use at least to check in.
Well, and the thing I was worried about
what
is
can he do else?
You can do other things, and the biggest thing that they could do, because I really didn't care about anything else except for this one thing, is they could cancel your flight.
Ah, okay.
I didn't want to show up to go to Vegas on Sunday, and then all of a sudden be like, I'm sorry, sir, your flight's been canceled. That was the one thing. If it was change my seat, I don't care. But if it was that would be problematic.
Yeah, that was especially what I was thinking about. And let me give you another story.
Oh, yeah.
I was once with Atlassian in Sydney, and we won a Charlie Award. It was so it was a big thing, and we were like the shooting stars back then. In 2014, a lot of founder attention. It was awesome, and I feel like my take on Scott is he's one of the most intelligent persons I've ever met in person, and
He really is.
It's an honor to meet such a person, and he knows my name, and it's cool.
You're like, it makes you feel good, nice and warm fuzzy, right?
Back then, we thought, oh, we're going to build a 24-hour, 24/7 support thing for our customers. So we need something in APAC.
Yeah.
So we founded the company, and I knew a guy in Melbourne. So I flew to Melbourne. We did all the legal stuff, and I went to him to an ATP tennis tournament.
Interesting.
Djokovic against someone I don't remember, but cool game.
Oh, yeah.
So I posted on Twitter back then, I'm so excited about this, and posted my my ticket.
Oh, no.
With the QR code.
Oh, no.
So I come, and I want to get entry. And I put it in, I said,
Ding.
already scanned.
Oh, no.
Holy shit.
Oh, no.
You posted that on Twitter.
Somebody enjoyed an amazing tennis match, right?
And the other guy said, oh, no problem. I'm sitting next to this guy. And I said, maybe he's not going to take this seat. So.
No, right.
And then, so we thought, okay, what can we do? And obviously those people weren't very appreciative of my story.
Right.
And then they said, I'm sorry, if you don't have a ticket.
If you don't have a ticket, I can't do anything.
And then at some point, the guy said, maybe I used your ticket. And then we tried his, and it worked. And we were both
it was like,
yeah, it was,
my God.
The internet is much better than you think.
I know, my gosh, right? See, that's why I actually had hope. I was like, I actually almost did it as a social experiment, where I was like, I almost didn't pull it because I was like, I have more hope in humanity, but I was like, there's going to be like just enough people brought it up where I'm like, it worried me just enough.
Yeah.
But I almost left it just because I was like, I gotta hope that humanity's not all trolls.
I've another experiment that you can try the next time that is not as dangerous, but also probably a security incident at Atlassian.
I know, right?
So you take your notebook.
Yeah.
You're at a conference, Atlassian Team 25. You put the notebook on a table, and then you leave and go pee.
Walk away.
And then you think about your notebook. What's going to happen? And once you come back, 4 minutes or whatever, it's still gonna be there.
Yeah.
Because people don't go to fucking conferences to steal notebooks,
right?
They don't care.
You know, I'll be honest. I think that
maybe someone, a guard, maybe around.
I know, right?
The
thing is you feel like, oh no, they did that, but then you might realize maybe someone took it to put it somewhere safe, right?
Yeah.
See, again, I have hope for humanity. I feel that we're better as
and
that.
I'm in that situation myself because I left my iPad on the counter of the gate.
Did you really? Oh, really?
I still don't know because it wasn't turned on again.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm very sure.
You're pretty sure it hasn't turned on for your the search, was it the map thing?
Exactly. My find
Find My Device.
Didn't, and if it does, it will be deactivated automatically.
Yeah.
And OIT said, it's not a big thing. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it back. I didn't even bother to ask my assistants whether it really.
You're like, when I get back there, I'll ask and see if hey, did you find an iPad?
Do you know what? This was a lot of chatter that had nothing to do with Atlassian. If you still watch, the first person to, I think that the barrier in Germany is $25.
$25?
And then it's bribery. So I'll give you a $30 tremendous voucher if you reach out to me or to Mark. So
please let us know. If you reach out to me, I'll let Martin know.
No, you got one.
And there we go.
So we're raffling two.
We're raffling two.
But only for the first. So,
there you go. So be sure to reach out.
I'll ask you next year if you had your.
I know, right? If I heard back from anything, right? Exactly.
Thank you so much.
I love it, Martin. Thank you, sir.